Have you ever stopped to think about your future? Not in terms of your career or your ambitions, but when your body begins to show the passage of time and your hair turns silver. What will those years look like? Will you be surrounded by love, watching your children and grandchildren thrive? Or will you find yourself alone, filled with regret, lost in the quiet loneliness of missed opportunities? These questions may be uncomfortable to face, but they are the ones that matter most. They are the very questions that shape how we live today, how we treat ourselves and others, and how we navigate each moment of our lives. The later years of life aren't simply about growing older. They are a reflection of everything we've done, everything we've felt, and everything we've thought along the way. Life is a journey, and our later years are like the final chapters of a book. But how will that story end? Will it be a story of peace, fulfillment, and wisdom? Or will it be a story of missed chances and unheeded calls for compassion? The answers lie in the choices we make today. Buddhist teachings remind us that the key to a peaceful and prosperous later life lies in how we live in the present. It's about cultivating inner peace, sowing the seeds of compassion, kindness, and mindfulness, and nurturing the relationships and experiences that matter most. By practicing mindfulness, we can stay grounded, appreciating each moment rather than rushing through life. By practicing compassion, we can build strong, loving bonds with those around us, ensuring that in our later years, we are not alone, but surrounded by those we've cared for and who have cared for us. Buddhism teaches us that life is fleeting, like a flower that blooms and fades. But just as a flower leaves seeds behind to grow anew, we too can leave behind something beautiful, a legacy of love, compassion, and wisdom that will sustain us long after the days of our youth have passed. So, what will your later years look like? Will they be filled with peace and serenity, or will they be a reflection of the missed opportunities of today? The choice is yours. Plant the seeds of compassion and mindfulness now, and let your future unfold with grace. Life is not simply about growing older, it's about how we live each day. The choices we make, the actions we take, and even the thoughts we nurture all contribute to the life we will experience as we grow older. There's a powerful teaching in Buddhism that says, "As you sow, so shall you reap." It's a simple phrase, yet it holds profound wisdom. The seeds you plant today will determine the fruits of your future. When we speak of living a meaningful life, it's not about the number of years we accumulate, but about how we fill those years. Every small decision, every thought, every action shapes our future in ways we often don't even realize. The Buddhist path teaches us that peace, fulfillment, and prosperity in life don't happen by chance. They are the result of mindful living, conscious decisions, and the cultivation of inner virtues. Think about it for a moment. What kind of life do you want to live in your later years? Do you want to look back and see a life of regret, of moments missed, and opportunities ignored? Or do you want to feel the satisfaction of knowing that you lived with purpose, that you were kind, that you contributed to the well-being of others, and nurtured the relationships that matter most? The path you choose today is the one that will define your future. Buddhism teaches us to live with awareness, aware of our thoughts, aware of our actions, aware of how we treat others. This awareness doesn't just change the way we live today, it changes the way we will experience our later years. If we live with compassion, if we practice kindness, if we build habits that nourish our mind and spirit, then the later years of our life will be full of peace, contentment, and grace. But if we neglect these teachings, if we choose to live with anger, fear, and resentment, then we might find that our later years are filled with regret. The peace we seek in old age is not something that happens by accident. It's the culmination of a life well lived, a life that is intentional, purposeful, and rooted in kindness. So, as you walk through life, remember, as you sow, so shall you reap. The choices you make today will shape the life you live tomorrow. Fill each moment with intention. Plant seeds of peace, love, and compassion. And in your later years, you will find that you have reaped a life of profound fulfillment. You might be asking yourself, What is the secret to a fulfilling life in our later years? It's a question that many of us overlook, but the answer is simpler than we think. It starts right here, in our hearts. Buddhism teaches us that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances or material success. It comes from within, from the state of our hearts and the quality of our thoughts. A kind heart and a compassionate mind are not just noble virtues, they are the foundation for all true happiness. In fact, Buddhism holds that cultivating love, patience, and understanding is the very path to a peaceful and fulfilled life. These are the seeds that, when nurtured, will grow into the deepest form of joy. Now, imagine for a moment living a life guided by love and compassion, where every thought, every word, every action is infused with patience and understanding. How would that feel? It would be a life of connection, of warmth, and of grace. A life where you are not burdened by resentment or regret, but instead filled with an inner peace that flows naturally from the heart. It's the kind of life that ripens into fulfillment as we age. A life where, even in our later years, we feel light, content, and connected to those around us. This isn't just a distant dream, it's entirely within your reach. If you begin today by planting the seeds of compassion, kindness, and love, you will be building the foundation for a joyful and peaceful tomorrow. The choices you make now, how you treat others, how you approach challenges, how you choose to respond to life's ups and downs, will shape your future. When you choose kindness over anger, patience over frustration, and understanding over judgment, you are not only transforming your present, but also shaping the future that awaits you. Tomorrow, when you look back, you will see that your life has bloomed with joy, serenity, and peace. And in your later years, when you reflect on your journey, you will find that those seeds you planted along the way have blossomed into a beautiful, peaceful existence. A life that is rich in love, connection, and fulfillment. The secret to a meaningful later life is not something far away. It's something you can begin nurturing right now, in your heart. You've likely heard of the law of cause and effect, often referred to as karma. It's a simple concept, yet one that holds immense power. What you do today creates the reality you experience tomorrow. We often think of karma in terms of major actions, big decisions, grand gestures, but it's important to remember that it's also about the small, everyday moments. The way you treat others, how you respond to challenges, the mindfulness you bring to your daily life. All of these actions, no matter how small they seem, are shaping your future. Buddhism teaches us that life is a web of interconnected actions. Every choice we make ripples outward, creating the conditions for what comes next. Even in the smallest of actions, offering a kind word, being patient with someone, choosing not to react in anger, we are planting seeds for the future. These seemingly insignificant moments are the building blocks of the life we will eventually live. Think about it, how you treat others today, how you approach difficulties, and how you respond to the world around you. These are the things that create the fabric of your future. If you react to challenges with patience instead of frustration, with understanding instead of judgment, you are not only creating harmony in the present, but you are also laying the foundation for a peaceful and fulfilling life down the road. In the same way, when you practice kindness, you are sowing the seeds of compassion that will grow into deep, meaningful relationships. When you live with mindfulness, when you take the time to truly listen to others, when you forgive yourself and others, you are cultivating a life that is rich with love, understanding, and serenity. Karma isn't about reward or punishment. It's simply the law of cause and effect. What you put out into the world, whether big or small, comes back to you in one way or another. If you plant seeds of goodness today, tomorrow you will reap the fruits of peace, love, and fulfillment. The beauty of this law is that you have the power to shape your future moment by moment. You don't need to wait for a big life event to change things. The work starts now, in the present. So ask yourself, what seeds are you planting today? And what kind of life will they grow into tomorrow? By living with kindness, compassion, and mindfulness, you are ensuring that your future is filled with everything your heart truly desires. Many people believe that wealth and success are the keys to happiness, especially as they grow older. We are often taught that if we work hard, accumulate riches, and achieve status, we will secure a comfortable, fulfilling future. But is that really true? There are countless stories of individuals who have lived in opulence, surrounded by luxury and material wealth, yet find their later years marked by loneliness, regret, and emptiness. Despite all their possessions, they find themselves longing for something deeper: connection, peace, and meaning. On the other hand, there are those who live simply, without the trappings of wealth or fame, yet they are surrounded by peace, joy, and love in their later years. They have rich, meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose, and a calm inner peace that money can't buy. So, what is the difference between these two paths? Buddhism teaches us that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from within. The difference lies in how we live our lives today, not in what we accumulate. In fact, the pursuit of material wealth can often lead us away from the very things that bring lasting fulfillment. True wealth is not measured in bank accounts or possessions. It's measured in the richness of our inner life. It's the peace we cultivate through mindfulness, the love we nurture through kindness, and the joy we create by living with compassion. These are the treasures that enrich our later years, far more than any material success could. In Buddhism, we learn that the path to a fulfilling life is one of inner cultivation. It's about focusing on the quality of our thoughts, our actions, and our relationships, rather than the quantity of our possessions. A life of kindness, compassion, and mindfulness leads to a deep sense of peace and contentment that cannot be taken away. Wealth may provide comfort, but it doesn't guarantee happiness. True happiness comes from a rich inner life, from cultivating virtues that nourish our soul. As we grow older, it's not the things we've accumulated that will sustain us. It's the love we've given, the peace we've found within, and the relationships we've built along the way. So, ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? Are you chasing after material success, or are you cultivating the inner wealth that will bring you peace, joy, and fulfillment in your later years? The choice is yours, and the key to lasting happiness lies in the richness of your heart, not in the things you own. Compassion is one of the most powerful forces we have in life. It's easy to confuse compassion with sympathy, feeling sorry for someone who is suffering, but true compassion goes much deeper than that. It's not about feeling pity for others. It's about understanding their pain at a deep level and choosing to act with kindness, patience, and empathy. When we act with compassion, we do more than help others. We also help ourselves. Buddhism teaches us that when we open our hearts to others, we create space within ourselves for healing and peace. It's as if by easing someone else's suffering, we are also soothing our own. The act of giving, whether it's a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or simply being present, has a powerful effect on our own well-being. It connects us to something greater, to the universal bond that links all of us as human beings. Think about it for a moment. When you offer kindness to someone, you are not just making their day brighter. You are also opening up your own heart, creating space for peace, love, and contentment to grow inside you. This is the true path to a prosperous life, a life that is not defined by what we own or accomplish, but by the love we give and the compassion we show. Buddhism teaches us that the key to a fulfilled life is in the cultivation of a compassionate heart. By being kind to others, by being patient, by truly listening to their struggles, we create a life that is rich with meaning. Compassion isn't just something we offer to others. It's something we must practice within ourselves. When we act with compassion, we become more present, more connected to the world around us, and more attuned to the needs of others. In turn, this brings a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that cannot be found through material success or fleeting pleasures. In the end, the most prosperous life isn't one filled with riches or accomplishments. It's one filled with love, meaning, and kindness. When we live with compassion, we unlock the true potential of our lives. We heal not just the world around us, but also our own hearts. So ask yourself, how can you cultivate more compassion in your life today? And how might that compassion transform not just the lives of others, but your own as well? The answer lies in the kindness we give and the love we share. Compassion is the true path to a life filled with peace and profound meaning. Your mind is like a garden. If you nurture it with care, it will blossom with beautiful thoughts, peace, and joy. But if you neglect it, weeds of negativity, fear, and doubt will grow and take over. This is the power of mindfulness. What you focus on today, what you allow to take root in your mind, will shape your reality tomorrow. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is incredibly powerful. It's not just a passive receiver of external events. It's a creator of our experience. The thoughts we entertain, the words we speak, and the actions we take all stem from the seeds planted in our minds. If we allow negative thoughts, such as fear, anger, and jealousy, to take hold, they will eventually shape our behavior and our life experiences. But if we choose to cultivate positive, peaceful thoughts, thoughts of love, compassion, and understanding, we are actively creating a life that reflects these qualities. The key to this transformation is mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, aware of the thoughts, words, and actions that arise. It's about observing your mind without judgment, noticing when negative or unhelpful thoughts begin to take root, and gently redirecting your focus to something more positive. This practice is not about perfection, but about awareness and intention. By being mindful, we can choose to plant seeds of peace and joy rather than those of fear and negativity. When we live mindfully, we create a mental environment where wisdom and kindness can flourish. We begin to recognize that we are not victims of our circumstances. We are the gardeners of our minds. What we focus on, what we allow ourselves to think, can either nourish us or poison us. Buddhism teaches us that by tending to the garden of our mind with mindfulness, we can cultivate a peaceful, compassionate, and fulfilled life. This practice of mindfulness isn't just for the present moment, it also shapes the future. The thoughts we plant today become the reality we live tomorrow. If we fill our minds with peace, understanding, and compassion now, we are setting the foundation for a peaceful and prosperous later life. A life where we are not ruled by anxiety or regret, but by contentment and grace. So ask yourself, what are you planting in your mind today? Are you allowing the weeds of negativity to grow, or are you cultivating the seeds of peace, love, and joy? Mindfulness is the key to creating a future that is rich in meaning and fulfillment. It's not about waiting for life to change. It's about changing our minds, one thought at a time. And in doing so, we ensure that our later years will be filled with the beauty and serenity we've nurtured all along. As we grow older, one of the most common emotions we face is regret. We look back on our lives and wish we had done things differently, taken different paths, made different choices. But here's the truth. Regret doesn't come from the things we did wrong. It comes from not living in alignment with our values, with our true selves. When we stray from what matters most to us, we create a sense of disconnection, and that disconnection breeds regret. The good news is that regret doesn't have to define your life. It's not something you have to carry forever. In Buddhism, we are taught that every moment is a fresh start, a new opportunity to live with intention, to live in alignment with our deeper values, and to move forward with mindfulness. No matter how much time has passed or how many mistakes you may feel you've made, you always have the power to begin again, right here, right now. The key to overcoming regret is living with intention. This means living consciously, making choices that reflect your values, and staying true to what really matters to you. It's about being mindful in each moment, understanding that every decision, no matter how small, shapes the course of your life. When you live intentionally, you're no longer just drifting through life, reacting to circumstances. you're creating the life you want to live, one mindful step at a time. Buddhism teaches us that we are not defined by our past mistakes or regrets. Every moment is an opportunity to create new habits, to make choices that bring us closer to our true selves, and to live with purpose. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up for yourself and for the life you want to create. If you want to live a life free of regret, start by being mindful today. Take a moment to reflect on what matters most to you, what aligns with your deepest values, and make the choice to live in harmony with those truths. It's never too late to change your course. Every moment is a chance to turn things around, to take a step closer to the person you are meant to be. So, if you feel regret weighing on you, remember this: it's not the past that defines you, but what you do with the present. The way you choose to live today will shape your future, and it's in your hands to create a life that is free from regret, a life filled with intention, purpose, and meaning. The key is to live fully now, to be mindful of your choices, and to stay true to your heart. The future you desire begins with how you live in this moment. Gratitude is truly a game changer. It's a simple practice, yet it has the power to transform your entire life. When you live with gratitude, your perspective shifts. Instead of focusing on what you don't have or what's missing in your life, you begin to see what's already present: the blessings, the small joys, the people who love and support you. This shift in focus, from lack to abundance, opens the door to a life that is rich in both material and spiritual wealth. In Buddhism, gratitude is not just a nice feeling, it's a transformative practice. It is one of the most powerful tools we can use to bring peace to our minds and joy to our hearts. The Buddha taught that when we cultivate gratitude, we align ourselves with the present moment, appreciating what we have right now, rather than constantly striving for something more. Gratitude helps to quiet the mind, reducing the constant chatter of desires and dissatisfaction, and allows us to feel content with what is. When we practice gratitude, we invite peace into our lives. We stop comparing ourselves to others, we stop focusing on what we lack, and we start recognizing the beauty and the abundance that already exists within us and around us. The simple act of acknowledging the good in our lives, whether it's our health, our relationships, or even the beauty of a quiet moment, shifts our energy. It creates space for joy and abundance to flow into our lives. The more we practice gratitude, the more we begin to see the richness in everything. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not found in material things or external achievements, but in the inner peace that arises when we fully appreciate the present moment. Gratitude allows us to see the interconnectedness of all things, reminding us that everything we have, no matter how small, is a gift. It helps us cultivate a deep sense of humility and understanding, recognizing that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Gratitude is a powerful practice that can be embraced at any moment. It's not something we have to wait for. It's available to us right now. By making gratitude a part of our daily lives, we can create a foundation of peace and contentment that radiates outward. And this peace brings abundance, not just in material wealth, but in the richness of our relationships, in our spiritual growth, and in the joy we find in simple things. So ask yourself, what can you be grateful for today? How can you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's already abundant in your life? When you embrace gratitude, you open the door to a life filled with peace, joy, and a wealth of blessings, both seen and unseen. Gratitude is the key to living a life of abundance, and it begins with the simple, yet profound, practice of appreciating what you have right now. As we grow older, it's easy to get caught in the trap of wishing we could turn back time. We may find ourselves longing for the days when we were younger, when life felt simpler, or when our bodies were stronger. But here's the truth. Aging is not something to fear. In fact, in Buddhism, we are taught to embrace the aging process with grace, wisdom, and acceptance. The more we can accept the natural flow of life, the more peace we find within ourselves. Buddhism teaches us a profound truth. everything in life is impermanent. This includes our bodies, our circumstances, and yes, even our youth. While many of us may wish we could stop the hands of time, the reality is that time moves forward, and aging is part of that movement. But instead of seeing this as a decline or a loss, we can choose to see aging as a process of becoming, a process of deepening, learning, and evolving into a wiser version of ourselves. When we learn to accept impermanence, we begin to free ourselves from the anxiety and fear that aging often brings. The fear of getting older, the worry about losing our vitality, the concern that we won't be able to do the things we used to do. These thoughts only cause stress and suffering. Instead of fighting against the natural rhythm of life, we can choose to flow with it, embracing the changes as they come. We can find joy in the simple act of being present, in appreciating the wisdom and experiences that come with age. Aging, when viewed through the lens of Buddhism, is not a decline. It is not a loss. It is a natural part of life's cycle, just like spring, summer, fall, and winter. Each stage of life has its own beauty, its own purpose. Youth is about discovery, energy, and building. Middle age is about growth, reflection, and balance. And old age is about wisdom, peace, and understanding. When we embrace aging as part of this grand cycle, we start to appreciate the richness that comes with it. By accepting the impermanence of life, we also release the grip of fear and regret. We begin to see each moment as a precious gift, rather than something to be feared or avoided. The more we can accept ourselves as we are, with all the changes that come with age, the more peace we find within. Instead of resenting the passage of time, we learn to honor it, honor the experiences, the lessons, and the wisdom that come with growing older. So, as you age, ask yourself, what can you embrace in this moment? How can you find joy in the process of becoming? The path to peace lies in accepting the natural flow of life and embracing every stage with gratitude and grace. When we accept impermanence, we open ourselves to the beauty of each moment, and in doing so, we find that aging becomes a process of becoming more fully ourselves, filled with wisdom, peace, and the joy of being present. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? We often think about legacy in terms of wealth, accomplishments, or material success. But true legacy is so much more than that. It's not just about what we leave in our bank accounts or on our resumes. It's about the love, the kindness, and the wisdom we share with others. Buddhism teaches us a profound truth, that we are all interconnected. Every action we take, every word we speak, and every thought we have ripples outward, affecting those around us and, in ways we may not even realize, shaping the lives of generations to come. The kindness you show today can inspire someone else to act with kindness tomorrow. The wisdom you share can plant seeds of growth in others, helping them find their own path toward peace and enlightenment. In Buddhism, it's understood that our actions are never isolated. The energy we put into the world returns to us, and it also spreads out, touching the lives of those we encounter, whether directly or indirectly. So, when we think about our legacy, we should ask ourselves, what kind of impact do we want to make? What kind of world are we contributing to with our thoughts, words, and actions? The love we give and the wisdom we impart don't fade away when we're no longer here. They continue to ripple through time, shaping the lives of others, even long after we're gone. The way we treat others, our family, our friends, our neighbors, even strangers, creates a lasting impression. The kindness we show can bring comfort to someone in need. The wisdom we share can guide someone through a difficult time, and the love we offer can plant a seed of hope in someone's heart. So, when you reflect on your life and think about the legacy you want to leave, think beyond material success. Think about the love you've shared, the compassion you've shown, and the wisdom you've passed on. These are the things that truly endure. These are the things that shape the world, not just in the moment, but for generations to come. Remember, it's not about the grand gestures or the achievements that the world notices. It's about the quiet, everyday acts of love and kindness that we offer without expecting anything in return. It's about how we touch the lives of others with compassion, understanding, and presence. This is the true legacy we leave behind. So ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered? What impact do you want to have on the world? The legacy you leave is not built in a day, but through the consistent choices you make. And in the end, the love, wisdom, and kindness you give will echo far beyond what you can see, creating a ripple effect that touches lives long into the future. The path to a peaceful, prosperous life in your later years doesn't begin in the future. It starts right now. It begins with the choices you make today, the seeds you plant in your mind and heart, and the love and kindness you cultivate in your daily life. What you do now, the energy you put into the world, the way you treat others, and the way you live each day will shape the life you experience in the years to come. In Buddhism, we are taught that the present moment is the most powerful time to create the life we desire. Every thought, every word, every action we take is like a seed that will one day grow into something beautiful, or, if neglected, something that causes suffering. But you have the power to choose what seeds you plant. You can choose to plant seeds of compassion, of understanding, of mindfulness, and in doing so, you create a future that is rich in peace, joy, and fulfillment. It's so easy to think that the life you want in your later years will come to you by chance, that it will somehow be the result of external circumstances. But the truth is, your future is shaped by what you choose to focus on now. If you fill your days with bitterness, anger, or regret, that's what will blossom in your later years. But if you make a conscious effort to choose love, compassion, and peace, that's what will bloom when the years pass by. The power to shape your future is in your hands, and it begins with small, intentional choices. Today is the day to start living with mindfulness, being present in each moment, paying attention to your thoughts and actions, and living with an open heart. Today is the day to start living with compassion toward others, but also toward yourself. When you choose compassion, you choose to live a life free from judgment, free from the burden of resentment, and full of love and connection. The later years of your life, no matter how far away they may seem, are waiting for you. And they don't have to be filled with loneliness, regret, or disappointment. They can be just as beautiful, just as peaceful, just as fulfilling as you make them. The joy you feel in your later years is not determined by what happens to you. It is determined by how you live today. So, make the choice now. Choose to plant seeds of mindfulness and peace. Choose to live a life of compassion and kindness. Because it's not just about what happens in your later years. It's about what you do today that will shape the beauty of the future you will live. And when you make those choices, the later years of your life will be filled with the richness of all the love and peace you've nurtured along the way. This is your path, and it begins right now. Choose wisely. Choose love. Choose peace. Choose mindfulness. Because the life you dream of in your later years is already taking shape, and it's beautiful beyond measure.